Say this tonight, and watch unexpected money arrive. But I ask you, beloved soul, do you know the immeasurable power of your own word? Do you realize that your tongue carries the keys to kingdoms, the power to open doors no man can shut, and to shut doors no man can ever open again? The world will tell you money is hard, wealth is a battle, prosperity belongs only to the chosen few. But I tell you this night, money is divine substance, ever present, ever flowing, waiting to take shape at the command of your spoken word. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, says the scripture. And so I ask you, what have you been speaking over your life? Poverty or plenty, delay or divine timing, fear or faith? For the word you speak tonight is not a whisper into the air. It is a decree sent forth into the invisible, carried on the wings of spirit, returning unto you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Do not be deceived by appearances. What you call lack is only a shadow cast by your unbelief. What you call impossible is nothing but a lie spoken by fear. The truth is this. When you align your word with God's law, substance obeys, money appears, opportunities unfold, and doors open of themselves. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. That wealth moves toward you the moment you stop resisting, the moment you stop doubting, the moment you dare to speak as a child of the Most High. So I ask you again tonight, what will you decree? What word will leave your lips and set the law in motion? Will you speak defeat, or will you speak dominion? Will you prophesy poverty, or will you summon plenty? Say this tonight, in faith, and watch what happens. For the word you speak is your wand, your invisible scepter of authority, and by it, you command the riches of heaven to appear upon earth. Beloved, hear me now. The word you speak is life, or it is death. It is bondage, or it is freedom. It is poverty, or it is plenty. Every syllable you release into the ethers returns to you with multiplied force. You cannot speak idly, for the invisible listens, the law records, and the substance obeys. The fool says, it is only words, it is only breath, but the wise know that words shape worlds, and the tongue writes the blueprint of destiny upon the scroll of eternity. From the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Creation itself answered to speech, let there be light, and light rushed into being. Let the waters divide, and oceans parted. Do you not see? The entire universe is built upon the vibration of decree. The stars hold their course because God has spoken it. The sun rises and sets because the word has fixed it. And so does money, wealth, and supply flow toward the soul who speaks the word of truth in faith, without wavering. I tell you, every man is a miniature creator, a divine imitator of his source. The word of your mouth is the wand of your life. Say, I am poor, and poverty comes at once to answer your decree. Say, I am rich, and angels are dispatched. Unseen messengers gather substance, and money finds its way, even through the most unlikely of channels. For the law is no respecter of persons. It is the faithful servant of your word. Consider Thomas Edison, who spoke into the darkness of impossibility and called forth the electric light. When men mocked him, when science declared him mad, he held to his decree. There is a way, he said, and I will find it. And the law, faithful to the word, bent reality until his invention lit the earth. The same law that answered Edison will answer you. Speak wealth, and wealth will appear. Speak light, and darkness must scatter. Speak increase, and decrease shall dissolve like mist before the morning sun. But here lies the mystery. Men speak two tongues. With one, they affirm prosperity, and with the other, they curse it. They say, God is my supply, yet complain, I can't afford it. They declare, I am wealthy, yet sigh, money never lasts. They stand in the pulpit of their own mouth and preach two gospels, and so their world is divided against itself. Do not be deceived, for a double-minded man receives nothing. Your word must be single, steadfast, and unbroken. The lips that decree abundance cannot mutter lack in the secret hour. You must guard your tongue as the keeper of the treasury guards the vault. Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth. Keep the door of my lips, prayed the psalmist. Why? Because the lips are the door through which heaven enters earth. Every careless jest, every word of fear, every prophecy of failure builds chains unseen. And every word of faith, every decree of wealth, every affirmation of God's inexhaustible supply opens the gates of substance and commands increase to manifest. I say unto you, money is not hard, wealth is not withheld, supply is not distant, it is waiting at your door, listening for the password of faith. Speak the word, and it enters. Speak the doubt, and it flees. Say, unexpected money is now on its way to me, and watch how swiftly channels open, checks arrive, debts dissolve, Opportunities unfold. The moment your decree is released, the invisible machinery of God's law begins its holy work. Men may call it coincidence, fate, or luck. But you will know, it is the outworking of your spoken word. Think of Andrew Carnegie, who was but a poor boy with nothing but vision and voice. He spoke wealth into being long before his hands touched iron or steel. He declared himself rich when his pockets were empty. He saw a world of prosperity when his eyes still beheld only labor and lack. The invisible substance, obedient to His decree, clothed itself in factories, railroads, and fortunes, and he, who began with nothing, became one of the richest men of his age. Was it chance? Was it fortune? No. It was the Word made flesh, the decree clothed in steel and gold. So I tell you, speak now. Do not wait until evidence appears. Do not say, when money comes, I will believe. That is the language of the carnal mind, the tongue of unbelief. You must decree it now, in the absence of proof, in the face of lack, in the midst of debt, for faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is speaking as if the harvest is already in your hand, even when the field looks bare. Faith is calling yourself wealthy when your purse feels light, declaring yourself debt-free when creditors circle, proclaiming, I have abundance, when appearances mock your confession. Faith never waits. It speaks first, and manifestation rushes to obey. Do you not see that fear is but faith in reverse? It is faith in evil, faith in lack, faith in misfortune. Fear is the prophecy of poverty fulfilled by its own decree. I am afraid I shall lose it, says the fearful soul, and the law answers, so be it. I am certain disaster is near, and lo, disaster marches in. The law is impersonal. It obeys faith or fear, truth or lie, blessing or curse. You are the master who chooses the word, but the law is the servant who fulfills it. Therefore, speak deliberately. Prophesy wealth, not want. Decree abundance, not absence. Say, the riches of the Spirit flow to me in perfect ways. Say, money comes to me easily, effortlessly, and in divine right timing. Say, God is my instant and constant supply. And repeat these decrees until they take root in the soil of your subconscious, until every cell of your body vibrates with conviction, until your voice rings with authority. Then, and only then, will the outer world bow to your inner word. Consider Walt Disney, who walked the streets with pockets nearly empty, dreaming of kingdoms no man could see. Men called him foolish, yet he spoke of castles and empires of imagination. He decreed what did not yet exist, and today, his vision covers continents. His word has built realms where joy reigns, and the world pays homage to the decree of one man who dared to speak his dream aloud. What is this but the law of the word made visible? What is this but faith calling forth substance? I tell you, your fortune waits on your lips. Say, I expect the unexpected. I expect miracles. I expect supply from every direction. And the very fabric of reality bends to your decree. Strangers rise up to bless you, forgotten debts return to you, lost opportunities resurrect themselves, and channels you never considered bring wealth to your door. For the spoken word is the magnet, and substance is the iron filings. Your decree pulls the invisible into form, draws the formless into visibility, commands the intangible to become tangible. Let me warn you, beloved, guard against idle speech. Do not joke about poverty. Do not jest about debt. Do not speak lightly of misfortune. For the law knows no jest. The word is seed, whether spoken in laughter or in earnest. Some harvests are bitter because the seeds were sown in jest. Say only that which you desire to see. Speak only the wealth you would welcome. Prophesy only the good you wish to embrace. Let your lips be the throne of truth, and not the mouthpiece of fear. Dr. Frank Crane once said, our words are the architects of our destiny. He was right. Speak limitation, and you live in a hut. Speak abundance, and you dwell in palaces. Speak defeat, and your path is narrow and thorned. Speak victory, and the way opens before you with golden gates. The law is exact, unwavering, eternal. You may fool men with silence, but you cannot fool the law with speech. It hears every murmur, records every sigh, obeys every decree. So tonight, as you lay your head upon your pillow, let no word of lack escape your lips. Instead, whisper into the silence, unexpected money comes to me now, in perfect ways, under grace. Let that decree be your lullaby, and angels will carry it into the night, working unseen to bring forth supply. In the morning, rise and declare, this is a day of divine abundance. Money flows to me, opportunities find me, doors open for me, and watch how swiftly the outer world reshapes itself to echo your decree. Never forget, the tongue is your scepter, The word is your wand, the decree is your command. Speak wealth, and wealth answers. Speak lack, and lack obeys. The choice is always yours. The law never fails. The word never returns void. When I tell you that the word is power, I do not speak of idle philosophy. I speak of a living law, eternal, invisible, and yet nearer to you than your very breath. Many search in vain for gold in the earth, while their tongue holds a greater mine of wealth. Men travel seas for treasure, but their fortune lies in the decree they have neglected to make, and the poor sit by their empty cupboards, forgetting that their lips carry the key to heaven's storehouse. Speak the word, and watch as it summons messengers unknown to you. Your decree may stir the mind of a banker, awaken the generosity of a stranger, remind a debtor of forgotten duty, or open the ear of a benefactor. You need not know the channel, you need only speak the decree, for the law knows the way, and spirit selects the means. Have you not heard of Napoleon Hill, who said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve"? But I tell you, it is not only conception, nor belief. It is the spoken decree that seals the vision and calls it into form. A thought is a seed, but the word is the water that brings the seed to life. A vision is a sketch, but the word is the ink that etches it into permanence. Without the word, your dream is a ghost. With the word, it becomes flesh. There was a man once who told me, "I am always in debt. It seems no matter how much I earn, I lose it." And I said to him, "What is your constant confession?" He laughed and replied, "I suppose I am always saying, I can't keep money." And I answered, "Then the law has fulfilled your decree. Change your word, and you will change your world." He obeyed, declaring daily, "I can keep money. Money loves me. Money stays with me." Within months, his fortune turned, debts dissolved, and money clung to him as a faithful companion. Such is the swiftness of the law when the tongue is aligned with truth. Carl Jung spoke of the power of archetypes and symbols buried deep in the unconscious mind. Yet I tell you, the spoken word penetrates even to the innermost recesses of the subconscious, engraving upon it patterns that magnetize reality. Your inner world is shaped by your spoken decree, and your outer world is but its reflection. If you would see wealth without, you must first decree wealth within. If you would walk in abundance, your inner conversation must sing the song of plenty. Mark well, beloved, that the invisible substance is infinite. It is not limited by economy, by markets, by governments, nor by circumstance. Men wring their hands at inflation, collapse, and scarcity, but the soul rooted in God speaks boldly, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." For substance flows beyond man-made systems. It finds Sito, Hanels in the desert, streams in the wilderness, ravens to feed Elijah, manna in the wilderness. The faithful decree opens the pipeline of supply, and even in famine the righteous prosper. Do you see? The invisible does not ask whether times are hard or easy, whether men predict increase or decline. It answers only the word. Say, "I live under divine economy, and heaven laughs at man's recession." Say, "My wealth is God-given and untouchable, and no thief, no crisis, no collapse can rob you." Say, "I live in the overflow," and watch as the outer world, though shaken, bends itself to your decree. Annie Ricks Millets, the woman of deep metaphysical vision, once taught that supply is spiritual, and its flow is hindered only by the belief in limitation. She was right, for limitation is but a shadow cast by unbelief, and unbelief is born from idle speech. The one who says, "There is not enough," has shut his own door. The one who says, "I never prosper," has tied his own hands. But the one who declares, "The riches of God are mine now," has swung wide the gate, and substance rushes in like a mighty tide. Do not think your decrees are in vain. Every word spoken in faith takes root in the unseen. It may appear for a time that nothing has changed, that your cupboards remain bare, your purse still light, but remember the farmer. He sows the seed, and though the soil looks unchanged, he does not despair. He knows the law of growth is at work. He waters, he waits, and in due season the harvest bursts forth. So it is with your word. Speak it, water it with faith, refuse to dig it up with doubt, and the harvest is certain. Ella Wheeler Wilcox declared, "You never can tell what your thoughts will do in bringing you hate or love, for thoughts are things, and their airy wings are swifter than carrier doves. Yes, and words are even swifter, for they are thoughts clothed in sound. Vibrations that ripple through the ethers, stirring substance into action. The decree spoken in secret becomes the event declared in public. The word whispered in faith becomes the shout of victory in manifestation. Beloved, you are the prophet of your own destiny. Your lips are the pulpit, your words are the sermon, your life is the congregation. Preach wealth, and your world applauds with abundance. Preach poverty, and your world mourns with lack. Preach health, and your body obeys. Preach sickness, and your flesh confirms it. Whatever gospel you declare, the law fulfills. Choose well the message of your mouth, for it shall become the reality of your days. Remember this eternal truth: your word is magnetic. It draws to you people, places, events, and circumstances aligned with its vibration. Speak of bills and debts, and bill collectors appear. Speak of gifts and supply, and gifts find their way to you. Speak of struggle, and life becomes a battle. Speak of ease, and doors open without resistance. The magnet of your decree cannot fail to attract its likeness. The law is exact. The law is impartial. The law is just. Prentice Mulford, one of the earliest heralds of New Thought, proclaimed that words are mental currents that carve paths in the unseen. He likened them to rivers, cutting channels through the landscape of the invisible. Every decree, every affirmation, every spoken word is a river digging its bed, and sooner or later the water of substance flows through it. If you desire wealth, dig the channel with your decree, and the river will fill it. Let me tell you a mystery. The tongue is a rudder. James, the apostle, wrote that though a ship be great and driven by fierce winds, yet it is turned by a very small rudder. So it is with the body, the business, the fortune of man. Though storms rage and winds howl, though debts rise and lack surrounds, the tongue, that small rudder, can turn the entire vessel into prosperity's harbor. Steer your ship with faith-filled speech, and you shall arrive at abundance, though all appearances prophesy shipwreck. Do not despise the day of small decrees. Begin where you are. Say, I have enough. Say, I am supplied. Say, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. Say it when your purse feels empty. Say it when creditors call. Say it when appearances mock your faith. Every decree is a stroke of the oar, rowing you toward the shore of abundance. Every word is a brick, building the mansion of your fortune. Do not faint, do not cease, for the law cannot fail, and the word cannot return void. Swami Vivekananda declared that words are living forces, that sound carries creative power beyond the visible. He knew what the sages of old proclaimed: by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. The word is judgment, and it is mercy. The word is bondage, and it is liberty. The word is death, and it is life. All depends on the decree you make. Now, I speak directly to you who hear me. Do not think wealth is for others and not for you. Do not imagine that God plays favorites, bestowing gold on one and lack on another. The law of the word is universal. It answers the rich and the poor alike, the scholar and the unlearned, the saint and the sinner. Whoever speaks in faith, receives. Whoever decrees with authority, manifests. Whoever dares to prophesy abundance, sees it clothed in matter. So tonight, open your lips with boldness. Declare, unexpected money flows to me now. I am supplied from the abundance of spirit. Riches seek me, wealth finds me, money clings to me. Say it without hesitation, without apology, without doubt. Say it with the voice of a king decreeing to his kingdom, with the authority of a queen commanding her court. For you are no beggar before heaven's throne. You are a child of the Most High, heir to the infinite treasury. Do not say, if it be God's will. It is always God's will that you prosper. The scripture says, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. Poverty is not holiness, lack is not virtue. The kingdom of God is abundance, overflowing, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Align your word with His will, and prosperity is inevitable. Beloved soul, listen. Your word tonight may be the turning point of your life. One decree spoken in faith may cancel years of poverty. One utterance of truth may uproot the harvest of lack and plant a new orchard of plenty. One fearless confession may break the chains of debt and open the vaults of heaven. Never underestimate the power of a single decree. For in the spiritual realm, one word spoken in faith carries more weight than 1,000 muttered in fear. Say this tonight. I am rich in divine substance. Money comes to me swiftly and easily. My supply is endless, my channels are open, my harvest is ready. Say it and believe it, say it and feel it, say it and expect it. Repeat it until your very bones ring with its truth, until your breath carries its conviction, until your sleep is filled with visions of wealth. And then watch. Watch as the law answers, as the invisible takes form, as the wealth you summoned with your decree appears in ways beyond your imagination. For your word is your wand, your decree is your destiny, your tongue is your scepter. Say this tonight, and watch unexpected money arrive. Beloved, listen closely, for we now walk deeper into the mystery. If the word is the seed, then faith is the soil. Without soil, the seed perishes. Without faith, the decree is barren. You may speak 1,000 affirmations, yet if fear is your foundation, your words fall like stones upon hard ground. But when faith is the bedrock of your decree, even the smallest word becomes a mighty harvest. Faith is not a trembling hope. Faith is not a timid wish. Faith is the fierce knowing that what you have spoken is already done. Faith is the bold assurance that the law has heard, the substance has obeyed, and manifestation is already underway. What things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. These are not idle words, they are the map to prosperity. Believe you have received, and you shall see it clothed in form. Consider the story of a widow in Jerusalem who gave her last 2 mites in faith. Men scorned the gift, but heaven multiplied it, for faith measures not the amount, but the conviction. A word spoken in faith outweighs fortunes spoken in doubt. One decree of a faithful soul can alter the tide of nations, can unlock treasures buried for generations, can shake loose wealth held in the grip of the ungodly. Do you recall George Muller, the man who fed thousands of orphans without asking men for a penny? His supply came by faith alone. He decreed his need before God, and the law moved men, moved money, moved substance to his door. Bread arrived when the cupboards were empty, milk was delivered when the children cried out in hunger, funds appeared when rent was due. Why? Because his word was joined with faith, and faith made the invisible visible. Beloved soul, what are you decreeing tonight? Are your lips filled with words of lack, even as your heart longs for plenty? Are you sowing seeds of fear while desiring harvests of wealth? You cannot speak against your faith and expect miracles. You must align your confession with your conviction, your decree with your desire, your word with your vision. Say only what you believe, and believe only what you say. Let your word be a sword of faith, sharp, unwavering, cutting through appearances of lack. Andrew Carnegie, whose fortune shook the world, once said, "The man who dies rich, dies disgraced." Yet how did he live rich? By faith in the unseen. As a boy, he decreed that he would rise above poverty, that he would command the wealth of industries. His faith was a magnet, his decree a command, and wealth obeyed. Carnegie's riches were not born of chance, but of vision sealed with faith. And what of Orison Swett Marden, who proclaimed, "Our destiny changes with our thought. We shall become what we wish to become, do what we wish to do, when our habitual thought corresponds with our desire." Yes, but I add, it is not thought alone, but the word spoken in faith that seals destiny. Thoughts unspoken are seeds unsown. Words spoken in faith are seeds planted in the soil of the universe. Marden taught men to think upward, but I tell you to speak upward, to decree upward, to release your word as arrows of faith piercing heaven and returning laden with wealth. Faith, beloved, is not blind. Faith sees beyond appearances. Faith looks at an empty purse and sees it overflowing. Faith gazes upon a barren field and sees golden grain. Faith beholds the closed door and knows it is already opening. Faith hears the creditor's knock and answers with peace, declaring, "God is my supply. I owe no man anything but love." Faith never denies appearances but declares their higher truth. The body may be weary, yet faith decrees health. The bank account may be low, yet faith decrees abundance. The business may falter, yet faith decrees success. And soon, the decree reshapes reality, bending matter to the pattern of spirit. Napoleon Hill, in his immortal work, taught that riches respond to definiteness of purpose, yet purpose without word is but a shadow. Purpose must be spoken, decreed, and declared. When a man says, "I shall be wealthy," the law hears a possibility, but when he says, "I am wealthy now," the law hears a certainty, and substance rushes to clothe the certainty with form. For heaven answers not someday, but now. Faith is always present tense. Faith never says, "I will be," but "I am." Speak in the eternal now, and watch how swiftly heaven answers. I recall a woman who came to me in despair, saying, "I have prayed for years for supply, yet still I lack." I asked her, "What words have you spoken?" She replied, "I always say, I will have enough someday." And I said, "There is your error. Someday never comes. The law answers only now. Change your word, and your world will change." She obeyed, declaring, "I have abundance now. My supply is present. My wealth is here." Within weeks, unexpected money arrived, opportunities opened, debts were canceled. She learned the mystery, that the word must be spoken in faith, in the eternal now, to unlock the treasury of heaven. Beloved, understand this. Your word must be charged with feeling. Cold speech is barren, fiery decree is fertile. Speak not as one reciting lines, but as one proclaiming truth. When you decree wealth, feel the joy of riches already yours. When you affirm abundance, feel the security of supply already present. When you declare prosperity, feel the peace of debts already dissolved. Feeling is the fire that fuels the word. Faith is the engine that drives it into manifestation. Speak without feeling, and the word drifts idle. Speak with feeling, and the word burns its pattern into substance. Do you not see how the prophets spoke? They cried aloud. They lifted their voice like trumpets. They declared as though the thing already stood before them. They did not whisper their decrees timidly. They thundered them as oracles. And so must you. Speak boldly, with authority, with conviction. Say, I am rich in divine substance. Say, money flows to me freely and joyously. Say, my wealth is unlimited, for my source is infinite. Say it with the voice of victory, and victory shall be yours. Remember Ernest Holmes, who taught, change your thinking, change your life. Yes, but I declare, change your word, and your world will bow to you. For thought unspoken is like fire contained, but word spoken in faith is like fire released, spreading, igniting, consuming limitation. The lips are the matchstick, the decree is the flame, and faith is the fuel. Strike the match of your word, and watch as the fire of manifestation blazes forth. And what of G.I. Gurdjieff, who spoke of man's sleeping state? He said men sleep through life, unconscious of their powers. Indeed, they sleep with their mouths filled with idle talk, unaware that their careless words shape their sleeping reality. But the awakened soul speaks with intention, knowing that every word is a chisel carving destiny. Do not sleep, beloved. Awaken to the power of your lips. Decree with awareness, and you shall create consciously, not blindly. Faith, then, is the lens through which the word becomes light. Without faith, the word is scattered. With faith, it is focused. Without faith, the decree drifts. With faith, it strikes its target. Faith is the invisible glue binding word to manifestation, thought to form, desire to destiny. Speak without faith, and you sow on stony ground. Speak with faith, and you reap 100-fold harvest. Now, I call you to test this law. Tonight, before you sleep, speak this decree. Unexpected money comes to me now, in perfect ways, under grace. Say it with faith. Feel it as true. Imagine it already fulfilled. Hold no thought of how, for that is not your concern. The channel is God's business. The decree is yours. Simply speak and release. Simply decree and rest. Simply prophecy and allow. And in due season, perhaps in days, perhaps in hours, the supply will arrive, often by means you could never have conceived. For the law is creative, inventive, infinite. It will move all. Ease strangers, stare forgotten debts, inspire gifts, open jobs, create opportunities. It will use channels you thought closed, roads you thought blocked, doors you thought sealed. But once the decree is made in faith, substance rushes to obey. Money must come, wealth must appear, supply must flow. For the word is law, and the law cannot be broken. Beloved, hold fast to this truth. Your word is your wand, and faith is the hand that wields it. Speak with authority, believe with conviction, and you shall see your decree clothed in reality. For heaven and earth may pass away, but the word, once spoken in faith, shall never pass away. Beloved soul, now we turn to the mystery of vision. For if the word is the seed, and faith is the soil, then vision is the light that guides the harvest. Without vision, the people perish. Without vision, the decree lacks form. Without vision, faith is blind. Vision is not idle dreaming, nor vague wishing. Vision is the clear inner sight of that which already exists in spirit, awaiting only your decree to clothe itself in substance. Vision is divine imagination, seeing with the eyes of God, beholding what is unseen by men, but eternally present in the invisible. When you decree wealth, you must also see it. See yourself supplied, see yourself debt-free, see yourself walking in abundance. Imagine it with such clarity that you feel it as now. For imagination is the womb of creation, and your decree impregnates it with power. The clearer your vision, the swifter the manifestation. Thomas Troward, the great metaphysician, declared, "The law of flotation was not discovered by contemplating the sinking of things, but by contemplating the floating of things which floated naturally." He meant that man must fix his vision not on lack, but on abundance. Do not look at your debts, look at your freedom. Do not fix your gaze on emptiness, fix it on fullness. As for what you behold inwardly, you will hold outwardly. Walt Disney walked through empty lots and barren fields, yet he saw castles, kingdoms, and worlds of joy. He spoke his vision aloud, and though men mocked, he held to it. His vision was so alive that even the soil seemed eager to obey. And today, millions walk in the landscapes of his imagination. What is this but the law of vision fulfilled? He saw it, he spoke it, he believed it, and it came to pass. Beloved, what do you see tonight? When you close your eyes, do you behold lack or plenty? Do you see bills or blessings? Do you see debts or deposits? If your inner sight is filled with shadows, how can your outer world shine with light? You must change your inner picture, for the outer is but its reflection. Christian D. Larson proclaimed, "The ideal becomes real when we see it so." Yes, the moment you see it as real, it begins to manifest. The law does not wait for time or circumstance. It answers your vision now. See yourself prosperous, and prosperity rushes toward you. See yourself supplied, and supply appears. See yourself wealthy, and wealth hastens to obey. There was a woman who longed for a home. For years she spoke of her desire, but never held a clear picture. One day I told her, see it, furnish it in your mind, walk its halls in imagination, decorate its rooms with joy. She obeyed. Each night she envisioned her home, giving thanks as if it were already hers. Within months, circumstances unfolded, and a house was given to her, almost identical to her vision. The law had clothed imagination with matter, vision with form. Do not despise your imagination, beloved. It is the divine faculty through which God speaks. Every invention, every masterpiece, every fortune was first a picture in the mind. Edison saw light before he built it. Carnegie saw empire before he commanded it. Hill saw riches before he taught them. Vision is the blueprint, the unseen map of your destiny. Speak the word upon it, believe in its reality, and watch as the invisible architecture becomes a living structure. But beware, for vision can be corrupted by fear. To imagine lack is to summon lack. To picture disaster is to invite it. Many souls are trapped, not by their enemies, but by their own inner pictures of failure. They rehearse poverty in imagination, they replay misfortune in thought, and then wonder why life obeys their vision. Do not dwell on shadows, fix your gaze upon the light. See only what you wish to see, and refuse every image of defeat. Carl Jung taught that the images of the mind are archetypes shaping reality. He was right, but I tell you, these archetypes are clay in the hands of your decree. The vision sets the mold, the word fills it with power, and faith brings it to life. Guard your imagination, for it is the workshop of creation. Do not allow fear to carve its shapes. Let only faith design your future. Now I say to you, dare to dream largely. Do not limit your vision to scraps when heaven offers you banquets. Do not see yourself in rags when the king has clothed you in robes of glory. Do not picture pennies when divine substance offers you millions. Your vision must match the greatness of God, for he is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that you ask or think. Stretch your imagination until it breaks the chains of limitation. See yourself in palaces, in overflow, in wealth without measure. Then decree it, and it shall be. Ella Wheeler. Wilcox once wrote, "You never can tell what your thoughts will do, but they build your world for you." Yes, and vision is the builder's plan. Without it, your decrees lack direction. With it, your decrees strike true. Vision is the aim, the mark, the target. Without it, your words are scattered arrows. With it, your words are arrows that pierce the bullseye of manifestation. There was a man who sought wealth but always pictured himself struggling. He declared prosperity, but inwardly saw poverty. His vision canceled his word. I told him, change your inner picture. He began to imagine himself wealthy, free, successful. He pictured checks in the mail, money in his hand, freedom in his days. Soon, his world shifted. Contracts came, business prospered, debts dissolved. The moment his vision aligned with his word, the law obeyed. Beloved, you must learn to see as God sees. He calls things that are not as though they were. He looks upon chaos and sees order, upon darkness and sees light, upon emptiness and sees fullness. So must you. Look upon lack and see abundance. Look upon debt and see freedom. Look upon sickness and see health. Look upon barrenness and see harvest. See as God sees, and speak as God speaks, and your world will bow to your decree. Vision is the painter, word is the brush, faith is the color. Together, they create the masterpiece of your life. Without vision, your canvas is blank. Without word, your strokes are absent. Without faith, your colors are dull. But when all three unite, your life becomes a radiant picture of prosperity. Beloved soul, tonight I charge you, close your eyes and see yourself wealthy. Walk through your imagined mansion, feel the softness of its walls, hear the laughter in its halls, see yourself writing checks with ease, giving gifts with joy, tithing with abundance. Picture your bank accounts overflowing, your business thriving, your debts erased. Let the vision be so real that your heart leaps with joy. Then open your lips and decree, "This is mine now, I receive it under grace, in perfect ways." Do this daily, do it with passion. Do it until your inner picture is more real than the outer appearance. For when the inner becomes stronger than the outer must change to match it. Vision is cause. Manifestation is effect. Inner sight is seed, outer sight is harvest. And remember, vision grows brighter with gratitude. Each time you give thanks for what you see inwardly, you polish the lens of your imagination. Gratitude adds color, texture, and light to your vision. Give thanks in advance, and you draw your dream nearer. Say, "Thank you, Father, for my overflowing wealth." Say, "Thank you, Spirit, for my supply now manifested." Say, "Thank you, Universe, for my unexpected money already here." Gratitude seals the vision with divine certainty. Beloved, the world may call you foolish. They may laugh at your inner pictures, mock your decrees, scorn your faith, but pay them no mind. They laughed at Noah building his ark, at Joseph dreaming his dreams, at Edison inventing his light, at Disney imagining his kingdoms, yet the laughers vanished, and the visionaries triumphed. Hold to your vision, and in due season, your mockers shall bow before your manifestation. So I say to you, lift up your eyes, see abundance, see prosperity, see riches flowing to you now, and decree it with faith. For as surely as night follows day, the vision you hold and the word you speak shall become the life you live. Beloved soul, when the word has been spoken, when faith has been established, when vision burns bright upon the inner screen, there must come the sacred step of right action. For faith without works is dead. The decree, the belief, the vision, all are divine seeds, but action is the hand that plants them in the earth of time. Yet take heed, beloved. Action born of fear is toil. Action born of faith is flow. When man acts in panic, he scatters his strength. When man acts in obedience to spirit, he moves with invisible hosts marching before him. Right action is not frantic motion, but spirit-directed steps, small or great, that align with divine order. I tell you, there is a difference between busyness and fruitfulness. The world is filled with men running, striving, laboring, sweating, yet producing little. Why? Because their action is not aligned with divine law. It is born of fear, not faith. It is driven by lack, not vision. But one act of obedience, one spirit-inspired deed, can accomplish what years of toil could not. Thomas Edison did not invent the light by flailing in darkness. He followed inner guidance step by step, experimenting with persistence, listening to the whisper of spirit clothed in intuition. Right action was his obedience to the inner voice that said, "Try again," and the world was illuminated. Andrew Carnegie did not build an empire by chasing every opportunity. He listened for the one opening spirit placed before him. Right action guided him to invest in steel when others doubted, and steel built his fortune. Walt Disney did not surrender to the failures that bankrupted him. He acted on vision with courage, buying land where others saw swamps. Right action clothed imagination with form, and today kingdoms stand where only mud once lay. Beloved, right action is always the next step shown by spirit. Do not leap blindly into 1,000 tasks. Do not waste strength upon directions not given. Ask, Spirit, what is my next step? Listen, then obey swiftly. That is right action. Right action may be as small as a word spoken, a letter sent, a hand extended, a seed sown. Do not despise the small act, for obedience in little opens the way to obedience in much. The widow of Zarephath baked one small cake, and abundance flowed into her house for 3 years. Moses lifted one rod, and the Red Sea parted. A boy offered 5 loaves, and multitudes were fed. Do not delay in the small obedience, for it is the seed of the great. Beloved, many souls speak words of power, envision wealth, believe in spirit, but falter in obedience. They hesitate, they procrastinate, they question the guidance given, and in hesitation they block the flow. Spirit says, call this man. They delay, and the opportunity passes. Spirit says, give this gift. They argue, and the channel closes. Spirit says, step through this door. They doubt, and the door shuts. Right action is swift obedience. Spirit speaks once, you obey instantly. That is the path of miracle. Delayed obedience is disobedience. Half obedience is no obedience. Right action is complete, immediate, joyful. For when you obey, you signal to heaven that you are ready to receive. Prentice Mulford taught, the moment you act in harmony with your desire, you have already begun to draw it nearer. Yes, the instant you obey the inner prompting, forces unseen begin to rearrange themselves in your favor. Angels move, doors open, circumstances align, the visible bows to the invisible, but only obedience sets them in motion. Right action does not mean strain, it means flow. There is an ease in obedience, even when it requires courage. Spirit's leading may challenge you, but it will never crush you. His yoke is easy, and his burden is light. If the way feels heavy, it is not right action but human striving. Lay it down, listen again, and wait for Spirit's whisper. Many have asked me, how shall I know what action is right? I tell you, the right action carries peace. Even when it requires boldness, it resonates with harmony. The wrong action breeds turmoil, confusion, dread. Spirit's voice is never frantic. Never anxious, never hurried. It is steady, calm, sure. Obey that calm command and you will never be led astray. There was a woman who desired prosperity. She affirmed daily, she visualized, she believed, yet nothing moved. One day she prayed, Spirit, what must I do? And she heard, sell your unused things. At first she resisted. It seemed too small, too trivial, but she obeyed. She cleared her home, sold what she did not use, and money began to flow. Not only that, but as she released the old, new opportunities appeared. Right action opened the floodgates of supply. Another man longed for work. He decreed, perfect position, perfect supply. Yet doors seemed shut. One morning he felt led to walk into a certain office building, though he had no appointment there. He obeyed. At the very moment he entered, a manager stepped out, seeking someone with his skills. He was hired on the spot. Right action placed him in the path of his supply. Beloved, your supply is already prepared. Spirit has laid the table before you, but you must take the step that places you at the table. That is right action. The feast is ready, but you must sit down. The door is open, but you must walk through. The field is ripe, but you must reap. Spirit provides the opportunity. You provide the obedience. Do not be like Pharaoh, who hardened his heart though Moses spoke the word of the Lord. His disobedience brought destruction. Do not be like Jonah, who fled from obedience, only to be swallowed by the sea, but be like Abraham, who rose early in the morning to obey, and was called the father of faith. Be like Peter, who cast his net at Christ's word, and pulled in a miraculous catch. Right action unlocks divine multiplication. Gurdjieff taught of man's mechanical habits, how men act without consciousness, driven by repetition, not spirit. But right action is conscious, awake, spirit-led. It breaks the mechanical cycle and opens new dimensions. Every act of obedience is a step out of bondage into freedom. Beloved soul, you must learn the rhythm of decree and deed. Speak the word, then step as Spirit leads. See the vision, then move when the door opens. Believe, then act. The law is not passive, it is living. It waits for your obedience to clothe itself in flesh. Do not think right action always appears grand. Sometimes it is humble. Write the letter, make the call, plant the seed, pay the bill in faith, give the coin to the beggar, forgive the enemy. Each small obedience is a divine link in the chain of manifestation. Do not break the chain by neglecting the little, for the little leads to the great. Annie Ricks Millets declared, God works through you to will and to do. That is the essence of right action. Spirit wills through you, moves through you, acts through you. You are the instrument, not the source. Let Spirit play his symphony, and your life will resound with harmony. Resist, and the music halts. Yield, and the song flows. Beloved, never fear missing your way. Spirit is faithful. If you are willing, he will redirect you even when you stumble. A sailor cannot steer a docked ship, but when the ship sails, even in the wrong direction, the rudder can turn it. So it is with you. Move as Spirit leads, and even if your step falters, the law will adjust your path. The key is movement, obedience, readiness. Right action is also giving. Many desire wealth but clutch their hand tight. They affirm abundance but hoard in fear. Spirit whispers, give, but they resist. And so their supply stagnates. Beloved, giving is right action. It opens the channel. As you release, you make room to receive. The tighter you hold, the less can enter. Give, and it shall be given unto you. That is divine law. There was a businessman drowning in debt. He came to me, desperate. I told him, tithe your income. He protested, I cannot afford it. I replied, you cannot afford not to. Reluctantly he obeyed. To his astonishment, contracts opened, opportunities multiplied, and within a year his debts were dissolved. Giving had broken the dam. Right action restored the flow. Right action is always aligned with divine timing. You cannot force it, nor can you lag behind. You must move in step with Spirit's rhythm. Sometimes he says, wait. That too is action, the action of patience, of holding still until the appointed hour. Sometimes he says, now, then you must leap without delay. Both waiting and leaping are right when directed by spirit. Swami Vivekananda declared, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. This is the spirit of right action, rising when spirit calls, awake to the guidance given, relentless until manifestation comes. Not frantic, but steadfast, not restless, but unwavering. Beloved, tonight I charge you, examine your heart. Have you obeyed the promptings given? Have you acted on the vision Spirit showed you? Have you moved where He said move, given where He said give, spoken where He said speak? If not, repent and obey swiftly. For delay is the thief of destiny, but if you obey, even now, the floodgates will open, and supply will rush in like a mighty river. Right action is not hard, it is simple. Listen, obey, trust, move, that is all. The law takes care of the rest. Heaven will move mountains to honor one step of faith. Angels will march at the side of one obedient soul. The universe itself will rearrange to bless one who dares to act in alignment with spirit. So tonight I say to you, decree boldly, believe firmly, envision clearly, and act swiftly. Let no fear delay you, no doubt paralyze you, no man dissuade you. The moment you hear, obey, the moment you see, move, the moment you decree, step. This is right action. This is obedience. This is the path of manifestation, and as surely as the sun rises, as surely as the tide returns, as surely as seed produces harvest, your right action will bring forth abundance in perfect ways, under grace, in divine order. Many grow weary upon the path, not because the promise fails, but because they forget the law of divine timing. The seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, but in its appointed season. The vision does not manifest in haste, but in the perfect hour decreed by Spirit, and the word spoken does not return void, but it returns when the soil, the weather, the hour are aligned. Delay is not denial, waiting is not wasting, for the law is perfect, and timing is its servant. When man grows impatient, he digs up the seed to see if it is growing, and by this disturbance, he hinders its growth. But the wise farmer plants and waits, knowing the invisible work is already in motion. So must you trust the unseen hand arranging, aligning, preparing your good. Do not grow anxious if the answer tarries. Spirit is never late, never early, but always on time. The Israelites wandered 40 years, yet the promise was sure. Joseph languished in prison, yet the dream was faithful. Sarah waited long for Isaac, yet her laughter came. David was anointed king as a boy, yet years passed before the throne was his. Beloved, do you see? Divine timing is the furnace where faith is tested, the waiting room where character is formed, the hidden workshop where spirit polishes the blessing before placing it in your hand. Impatience is distrust. Anxiety is unbelief, but rest is faith. When you know the law cannot fail, you rest even while you wait. You give thanks before the answer arrives. You praise while the clouds still gather. You sing though the night is long, for you key. Now the dawn is certain. Faith is not proven by your decree alone, but by your peace while waiting for its fulfillment. Dr. Frank Crane declared, what you are waiting for will come to you, if you work and wait aright. Yes, to wait aright is not to fold hands in despair, but to keep faith alive, gratitude flowing, vision burning. Waiting is not idleness, but expectancy. You do not sit as a beggar, you stand as a receiver. You do not wait for lack to end, you wait for fullness to manifest. Think of the mother awaiting her child. She does not doubt the child's coming, though months pass without sight. She prepares the room, she gathers the clothing, she speaks with joy of the new life soon to appear. Her waiting is active, joyful, full of faith. So must you prepare for your manifestation. Act as though it is already on the way. Clear the space, make room, set the table. Your preparation is proof of your faith in divine timing. There was a woman who decreed a home. She affirmed, she envisioned, she believed, yet years passed with no house appearing. One day Spirit whispered, prepare as though it were now. She obeyed, she packed her belongings, labeled her boxes, cleared her closets. Within weeks, the perfect house appeared, and the transition was swift, for she had made ready. Divine timing was waiting not on Spirit, but on her obedience to prepare. Beloved, divine timing is not delay from heaven's side, but preparation on yours. Spirit must align people, places, and circumstances. He must remove obstacles, soften hearts, open paths. Sometimes your blessing is ready, but the stage is not set. Sometimes the stage is ready, but you are not. Trust the law, trust the wisdom of perfect order. When the time is ripe, no power on earth can stop your manifestation. Napoleon Hill declared, a man is never whipped until he quits in his own mind. Impatience is quitting in the mind. It is surrender to doubt. But persistence is faith in divine timing. Hold fast. Do not abandon your decree. Do know. Don't uproot your vision. Do not withdraw your word. The tide is turning, though you see it not. The harvest is swelling, though the field looks bare. The supply is moving, though the bank account seems still. Wait, and the perfect hour will reveal what has been growing all along. Carl Jung spoke of synchronicity, the mysterious order of events aligning beyond logic. This is divine timing clothed in psychology. The right person meets you at the right hour. The letter arrives the moment you need it. The opportunity opens when all else seems closed. Beloved, this is no accident. This is the invisible hand arranging the pieces of your life with infinite precision. To the impatient, it seems late. To the faithful, it is perfect. Remember Jesus at Cana. The wine ran out. His mother said, "They have no wine." But he replied, "My hour has not yet come." Yet when the hour struck, water turned to wine, and the supply was abundant. Beloved, your wine is not gone. Your supply is not ended. It is simply awaiting its appointed hour. Trust the divine clock. It does not miss a beat. Consider also the bamboo. For years, nothing is seen above ground, yet beneath the soil, roots are spreading, deep and strong. Then suddenly, in a single season, the bamboo shoots up towering, unstoppable. So it is with your decree. Long may it seem hidden, but when the hour comes, manifestation is swift and mighty. Do not despise the silent years. They are roots preparing for strength. Beloved, divine timing requires your surrender. Release your demand for how and when. Say, this or something better under grace in perfect ways. That phrase is the safeguard of faith, the shield against disappointment. For what you think is delay may be spirit saving you from lesser good, holding you for greater blessing. Do not demand the seed before it ripens. Do not force the bud before it blooms. Trust the timing of heaven. Ella Wheeler Wilcox wrote, "The thing you long for comes when you cease to long, when you cease to fret and are still." Yes, stillness is the atmosphere of divine timing. The restless soul delays its blessing. The peaceful soul draws it near. Be still and know that the law is working. Be still and know that God is faithful. There was a man who prayed for a business deal. Weeks passed, then months. He grew anxious, ready to abandon hope. Yet Spirit whispered, "Wait." He obeyed, though it tried his patience. In the delay, hidden corruption was uncovered, and the deal was saved from ruin. Later, a greater opportunity arose, richer and safer. Had he rushed, he would have entered disaster. But by waiting, he entered abundance. Divine timing had protected him. Beloved, the universe is not random. Every star moves in rhythm, every tide in order, every season in cycle. If the heavens keep time, shall not your life also? The law is never out of rhythm. When you align with it, your manifestation appears as surely as spring follows winter. Swami Vivekananda declared, "Take one idea. Make that one idea your life. Think of it. Dream of it. Live on that idea. This is the way to success." And I add, hold to that one decree, that one vision, that one faith, until the divine hour arrives. Do not scatter your energy on 100 whims. Stand firm upon the word you have spoken. Time will prove it true. Beloved, tonight I say to you, rest in divine timing. Your decree has gone forth. It cannot fail. Your vision is alive. It cannot die. Your faith is working. It cannot be barren. Trust the law. Trust the hour. Trust the God who governs all. Release anxiety. Release fear. Release demand. Say, I rest in the divine timing of spirit. My good appears in perfect order. What is mine comes swiftly, harmoniously, joyfully. I cannot miss it, for it cannot miss me. Do this, and you will find peace even in waiting, joy even in silence, hope even in delay. And when the hour strikes, you will marvel at the perfection of the unfolding, saying, surely, this is better than I imagined. Surely, Spirit's timing is flawless. For beloved, the law of divine timing is the law of love, and love always gives at the perfect moment. Trust, wait, and rejoice. Your wealth, your freedom, your abundance, it is already on the way. The clock of heaven never errs, beloved soul. I tell you a mystery. Resistance is the root of poverty. For what you resist, persists. What you fight, you strengthen. What you fear, you draw near. But when you yield, when you let go, when you flow as the river flows, the burden lifts, the chains fall, and supply rushes in as a mighty stream. Non-resistance is not weakness, it is power. It is the power of water which wears away rock. It is the power of the breeze which bends the oak. It is the power of spirit, which never forces, yet conquers all. Man thinks by fighting he wins, but he only entangles himself in webs of fear. Spirit teaches, resist not evil, not because evil is strong, but because resistance feeds it. Non-resistance starves it, and it withers. Poverty often clings because men fight it. They curse their bills, they dread their debts, they wrestle with lack. And by this resistance, they magnify it. The bill grows, the debt multiplies, the lack deepens. But the soul that looks upon the bill and says, "You are nothing but evidence of supply already moving. I bless you, I release you, I know the substance to cover you is here now." That soul dissolves debt in non-resistance. The burden flees before the calm decree. Do not resist circumstances. Do not fight appearances. To resist is to believe in their power. To yield is to deny their reality. Non-resistance is standing still, seeing the salvation of the Lord. It is resting in the tea. Ruth, that spirit governs all, and no shadow has power over you. Thomas Troward declared, "The Spirit is always working for fuller expression." Yes, Spirit presses forward like a river, seeking to expand, to bless, to increase. When you resist, you dam the river. When you yield, you flow with it. Non-resistance is removing the dam, letting the current carry you. There was a man drowning in lawsuits. He fought each case with fear and anger. The more he fought, the more appeared. I told him, "Stop resisting, bless your enemies, see God in every circumstance, declare, this works for my good, Spirit is my defense, I rest in divine law." He obeyed. To his amazement, cases began to dissolve, opponents withdrew, judgments turned in his favor. By ceasing to fight, he won. Non-resistance does not mean you accept injustice, it means you refuse to feed it with fear. You act as Spirit directs, but without struggle, without bitterness. You speak the word, you take right action, but you hold no fight in your heart, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Swami Vivekananda said, "Stand up, be bold, be strong. Take the whole responsibility on your shoulders and know that you are the creator of your own destiny." And yet he also taught surrender, not to circumstances, but to spirit. That is the balance of non-resistance, boldness without struggle, surrender without passivity. You do not bow to fear, but you yield to spirit. You do not fight men, but you trust God. Beloved, when you resist, you tie your good to the thing resisted. When you yield, you free it. Many resist wealth itself without knowing. They fear money, they criticize the rich, they condemn prosperity. And by this resistance, they block their own abundance. Non-resistance is blessing wealth, praising supply, rejoicing in the riches of others, knowing that what you bless, you draw near. Ella Wheeler. Wilcox wrote, "Love lights more fires than hate extinguishes." Yes, love dissolve. As resistance, bless what you once cursed, love what you once feared, praise what you once dreaded. In blessing you release, and in release you attract. Carl Jung taught that what you resist not only persists, but grows stronger. He spoke as a psychologist, but I tell you as a metaphysician, resistance clothes shadows with substance, but non-resistance strips them naked, and they vanish. Shadows flee before the light, not because you fight them, but because you shine. Beloved, let me give you a practice. When fear rises, do not resist it, do not wrestle it. Look upon it calmly and say, "You are nothing, Spirit alone is power. I rest in God, and all is well." Speak it once and watch fear dissolve. Resistance inflames fear, but calm declaration banishes it. There was a woman tormented by a neighbor who slandered her. She resisted, she argued, she fought. The quarrels grew. I told her, "Stop resisting, bless her, see her in divine order, declare, there is no enemy, there is only God in action." She obeyed. The neighbor softened, apologized, and peace was restored. Non-resistance had melted the conflict. Beloved, the law of non-resistance is the secret of flow. Look at the river. It does not resist the rock. It flows around it, over it, wearing it away in time. Look at the wind. It does not fight the mountain, it passes over, carrying freshness still. So must you flow with life, refusing to harden against appearances. Be supple, be yielding, be still. That is power. Even Christ, when struck, said, "Resist not evil." He did not fight with force, yet he conquered with truth. He yielded, yet overcame. His power was not in the sword, but in surrender to divine law, and by that surrender, resurrection came. Non-resistance is also forgiveness. To hold resentment is resistance. To forgive is release. Many souls block their wealth by clinging to old injuries. They rehearse raw things, resist reconciliation, and by this chain their supply. But when they forgive, release, and bless, money flows again. Forgiveness is non-resistance in action. Beloved, tonight I tell you, cease your struggle, release your grip, stop wrestling with shadows. Say, I flow with spirit, I resist not, I yield to divine law. All that is mine comes easily, joyfully, freely. Nothing and no one can oppose me, for I oppose nothing and no one. Speak it, believe it, and you will find doors open where walls once stood, rivers flow where deserts once lay, and money arrive where lack once reigned. Non-resistance is the end of toil. It is the secret of ease. It is the rest of faith. Struggle no more, beloved. Flow, yield, trust, rest. That is the way. And now, dear soul, if these words have lit a flame in you, if spirit has stirred within you, if your faith has risen as a mighty tide, then I invite you to stay with this river of truth. For spirit has more to say, and the word will continue to transform you. Subscribe, beloved, that you may not miss the next wave of revelation. Like this message, that it may flow to others who hunger for truth. For you are not alone on this path. Many are seeking, many are yearning, many are ready to awaken. Your act of sharing opens the door for their supply. So I say to you, subscribe, that you may walk this journey in fullness, that you may spread this truth like seed upon the winds. Together, let us lift the world into the flow of spirit, where resistance ends and abundance reigns.